Tiny ripples drifted across the surface of the otherwise placid lake. Not the movement of an individual through this relatively small body of water, but the water's reaction to a more or less stationary presence in its cool depths. Mirron stood unmoving, patient. Her eyes were closed, all her efforts focused on the sounds that came to her ears. In her right hand she held a glaive, 2 meters of solid black wooden pole inlaid with silver runes, at the end of which was a full meter of razor-sharp steel with a wickedly curved edge. The blade of the glaive remained perfectly still in the water, and the heaviest plates of her armor were piled on the beach not far away. Behind Mirron, her exceptionally long braid of dark brown hair floated serenely. The silent, unmoving warrior was practically invisible. Even the moonlight was mostly blocked by dark, heavy clouds. Trug and Ulrich Cole blundered wordlessly through the dense foliage towards the small lake. They panted loudly, having spent great effort to move through the heavy forest. Each carried a large sack filled with stolen goods, some of them still bloody, some still warm from the touch of their murdered owners. Without a word exchanged, the 2 brothers made good progress. They were expert woodsmen, and the speed they made through this heavily overgrown area was far greater than anyone who might pursue them. Thus had these 2 murderers, rapists, and thieves survived for 7 years on the hard work of others. Society suffered for their existence. When they came to the little lake, the brothers Cole never hesitated. They knew this lake well, knew the forest around it, and the uneven ground beneath that thick foliage was far too rough to travel quickly or painlessly, and had used this lake many times for their escapes. Thus it was that they paid little attention to where they were going. They had no reason to. With grins on their faces, knowing they were in the clear, the 2 brigands quickly waded through the shallow end of the lake, freedom and another night's successful plunder. Without warning, 2 tiny points of bright white light appeared directly in front of them. Trug came to a sudden halt, and Ulrich thudded into his back. "What the fuck are you?" Ulrich began, before he too saw the points of light. The 2 lights, apparently the pupils of someone's eyes, were just enough to illuminate the features in which those eyes were set. Rather angular, almost sharp, but decisively attractive, and positioned such it was clear the bearer of those eyes stood much taller than the brothers. The brothers Cole were not the largest men, but they were barrel-chested with powerful arms, and they were not intimidated by someone who stood nearly 2 meters tall. They had killed bigger. "I won't waste time giving you a chance to surrender," she said in a smooth voice. "We all know you won't take it." The 2 brothers laughed heartedly. No woman was going to threaten them and get away with it, and it would be fun to teach her that lesson before she died. Trug muttered something to that effect, as the brothers quickly drew weapons and dropped their bags of loot. With practiced precision, the 2 experienced murderers each stepped to a different side of their adversary. Trug's heavy axe swung in towards the woman's shoulder. Ulrich's sword sought her midsection. Mirron stepped back with a rush of water, parried the sword and dodged the axe, and with a cry Trug went down as something yanked his ankle out from under him. With a flash of light, silver runes glowed along the full length of the otherwise solid black half of Mirron's glaive. Fully 3 meters long, the weapon now provided enough light by which to see. It lit the 2 burly brothers in patchwork but effective armor, and the tall warrior woman currently armored only by the chain and padding that normally supported full plates. Stone-faced, Mirron brought the blade of her gigantic weapon in a vicious arc aimed for Ulrich. No amateur, the burly criminal managed to parry and duck the powerful attack, bringing his weapon in for a much quicker strike. He pressed forward, striking several times through the woman's parrying glaive, landing solid blows that the woman's chain armor barely turned away. Her grunts at each impact told the truth of at least blunt force through the armor.